All right, good morning folks, and welcome to ParentTaughtDrivingCourse.com. This morning we're going to talk a little bit about commentary driving, just to give you some examples in terms of what you want to look for and ask for of your student. Notice that bus on the left hand side, it's oncoming. Now I'm in a residential area. There is obviously fog out, so you're going to want to be extra careful. So again, this is really just to help parents and instructors understand what commentary driving is all about. There's an oncoming vehicle, a truck, a silver truck. So what you'll do is you'll ask your student to basically talk a little bit about their driving environment. You want to make sure that they're paying attention to the driving task and that they're understanding the variables and in some cases hazards that they're going to find within the driving environment. So I'm approaching this stop sign. I'm going to let off the accelerator. I'm going to cover my brake and slow down. I'm checking my mirrors. There's a vehicle turning into the neighborhood. I'm going to put my left blinker on. I'm going to make a complete stop. Make sure that I don't go past the stop sign. Once I make a complete stop, I look left, I look right, it's clear, so I'm going to go hand over hand to the left, accelerate through the turn. I'm going to put my right blinker on, my left blinker on. I'm going to get into the left turn lane, check my mirrors again. I'm going to cover my brake, I'm going to slow down and make sure that I stop behind that white stop line. I'm looking left, there's a lot of traffic coming from the left. I scan right, there's traffic from the right, and then there's a vehicle that is to my right that's actually going to turn to the right. There are cars coming in from the left and from the right hand side. There's a vehicle that's going to be pulling into the center turn lane that's going to make a left in front of me into the neighborhood. Again, lots of traffic to the right, lots of traffic to the left. I want to make sure the traffic clears before I make my left hand turn. Now there's a bus on my right hand side which completely blocked my view. I know you guys can't see it, but these are some of the things that you're going to ask your student driver to point out and to comment on. It's really important that you get into the habit of commentary driving. Not only does it help the student get a better idea in terms of what is in their driving environment, but it also allows the instructor, folks, I'm making my left-hand turn into the near lane, hand over hand, I accelerate through, check my mirror, I'm going to put my right blinker on, I'm going to look over my right shoulder, I'm going to accelerate through this lane change and gradually change lanes. I'm going to check my mirrors again. I'm going to take my blinker off, and now I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at that traffic light. Again, limited visibility because of the fog, but if you notice that that light is green, so you are able to see it. If you see a traffic light turn green from red to green, that means it's a fresh green light. If you never saw it turn green, that means it's a stale green light, at which point it could turn. So again, oncoming vehicles, I'm going to get onto the toll road up ahead. So I'm going to start preparing for that. I'm scanning the road ahead, checking my mirrors, looking left, looking right. And I am about 100 yards from the turn, so I'm going to put my right blinker on. Notice the toll 45 west sign. Another sign up ahead, toll road. Entering the Hayes County line. I pull into the right turn lane or merge lane. Now here it gets a little bit tricky, folks, because the cars from the left, or their cars, I'm merging into the flow of traffic, so I'm going to have to be very careful here and try to find a spot. So I'm looking over my left shoulder. I'm going to accelerate through. I'm going to put my left blinker on. Actually, I already had it on, but I'm looking over my left shoulder and I'm going to merge into the flow of traffic. Now when I merge, I want to make sure that I accelerate to highway speed. In other words, I don't want to come in too slow or too fast. Speed limit is 65 miles an hour. So again, in terms of the commentary driving, what this does is it helps the student familiarize themselves with their driving environment. They start to notice details about the environment that they might not otherwise if they didn't verbalize their thought process. It also allows the instructor to determine, again, the student's level of attention to the driving task. Are they paying attention to what's going on around them? Are they aware of their surroundings? Like for instance, right now, I've been checking my rear view. You want to check in your rear view and side view mirror every few minutes, every few seconds. I'm sorry, you've got a lane that merges. There's no traffic. So you want to make sure, again, that you're aware of your surroundings. So it does allow instructors to determine a student's level of attention, again, to the driving task. And it gives them some insight in terms of the student's thought process. Again, are they able to determine or to see hazards within the driving environment? And if they do, how are they going to react to those hazards? So you'll notice the sign again, loop 1, exit 2 miles. I'm going to be taking that exit, so I'm going to stay in the right lane. Since I'm going to be taking an exit, it is foggy out. So you want to make sure that you're constantly checking your mirrors. Make sure that you watch your speed. Both hands on the steering wheel at the 10 and 2 or 9 and 3 position. The car in front of me just changed lanes. They did use a blinker. There's a vehicle in the left lane that's passing me. It's a red mid-size SUV. And behind me, there's a 2 or 3 car. I can't see. There's at least 3 cars behind me. The car in front of me just changed lanes. I'm going to maintain a constant speed. The speed limit is 65 miles an hour, and I am traveling at 65 miles per hour. So the exit is going to be coming up in a mile. I want to make sure that I'm checking my mirrors. I'm watching my speed. I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at least a few hundred yards ahead. I see that green sign on the right-hand side. So the exit now is a half a mile. We went from 2 miles to a mile and a half, now to 2 miles to a mile and a half to a half a mile. Right lane must exit, so I'm in the I'm in the exit lane. Again, you'll notice the inclement weather. There's quite a bit of fog. It's not super thick, but it certainly isn't light fog, which makes it a little bit difficult. Now, as I approach this exit, I'm going to put my right blinker on. You'll see the exit sign ahead, about a quarter of a mile. I let off the accelerator, slow down, I cover my brake, and I'm going to slow down. Now, one of the things that I want to look out for here is traffic that backs up. Traffic does have a tendency to back up on this off-ramp. And not only that, but then the left lane merges. You'll see the sign here, left lane or lane ends merge left. So the right lane merges to the left. You'll see how traffic backs up. So one of the things you have to look out for is traffic behind you. Check your rear view, you let off the accelerator, you start to slow down. And we've essentially gone from about 65 miles per hour down to 40 for the exit, down to I'm doing about 10 miles an hour, and now I've come to almost a complete stop. Now, notice the vehicles in the left lane that are merging to the right. That white truck there is merging in front of that maroon SUV in front of us. Doesn't have their blinker on, but what happens here is that the lanes do merge. Now, when we exit at the ramp, the lanes merge, the right lane merged to the left. Now that we're on loop 1 here, traffic is merging from left to right. So initially it merged from right to left, now it's merging from left to right. There's a vehicle behind me that's pulling in the space between myself and the other vehicle. The SUV in the left lane has their right blinker on, so I'm going to leave a space for them to be able to merge in. I want to make sure that I'm sharing the road. You'll notice the sign for road work ahead, so we're getting ready to enter a construction zone. So again, you want to make sure that you're looking at a distance. So I'm looking at a distance, checking my mirrors, watching my speed, proceeding with caution. Want to make sure that you're scanning left, scanning to the right. So these are some of the things that your student drivers should be able to point out. Again, once they get into the habit of, or once they get accustomed to commentary driving, even if they're by themselves. I know I do it sometimes when I'm driving alone. I'll make comments about the environment just out of habit. And so what that starts to do is it starts to allow the student to learn and develop safe driving habits. They get into the habit of verbalizing what they see, and again, that's important. You notice traffic slowed down, came to a complete stop again. So I'm checking my mirrors, I'm accelerating gradually. You want to make sure that you have a proper space between you and the car in front of you. There's a vehicle in the left lane that's trying to merge over to the right. I'm checking my rear view as I slow down, accelerate gradually. There's another vehicle in the left lane that's going to eventually merge right, so I'm going to make sure I have enough space to allow them to merge in. So not only are we dealing with morning rush hour traffic and construction, but on top of that, we're dealing with limited visibility because of the fog. So you'll notice the barrels on the right-hand side. The speed limit up ahead is 55 miles an hour, and the road curves to the right. I'm checking my mirrors. There's another vehicle coming in pretty fast. They should have already merged in. So again, I'm going to keep a larger gap than I normally would, just to allow them to be able to merge in, so I don't put myself in a situation where I'm going to end up having an accident or get pushed off the road. I'm checking my mirrors. I'm accelerating gradually, and in some cases I'm letting off the accelerator. You don't always have to brake to slow down. you can let off the accelerator so that you slow down just enough to allow vehicles to merge or to increase the space between you and the vehicle in front of you. I'm checking my mirrors again. You notice that I keep saying I'm checking my mirrors. You want to glance in your mirrors every few seconds. So it's really important that you are aware of the space around your vehicle. Notice that the lane is narrow. So I've got a narrow lane. I'm driving through construction. There's a detour sign. You'll notice all the vehicles, the construction equipment. Gotta make sure you're careful to look out for workers. Construction vehicles merging into the flow. Now there's a right lane that's going to pull into a neighborhood. I'm going straight, so I'm staying in the left lane. There's a barrier on the left. Speed limit ahead is 55 miles an hour. Now I'm going to be exiting, so I'm going to put my right blinker on. I'm accelerating gradually up to 55 miles an hour. I'm going to look over my right shoulder and I'm going to gradually change lanes. You'll see the sign up ahead, slaughter lane exit. I've got my right blinker on. Vehicle passing me on the left-hand side. There's a barrier to the right. And I'm going to take this next exit. Now as I take this next exit, there's a truck there in that median. I want to make sure you're careful. I'm checking my rear view. I'm going to make a left up ahead, so I'm going to put my left blinker on, checking my mirrors again, and I'm going to go ahead and pull into the left lane. And I'm going to make a left at this intersection. I let off the accelerator, cover my brake, and I'm going to slow down. Checking my mirrors again. I want to make sure that I approach and that I don't cross the stop line. You want to make sure that you always stop behind the stop line. Now what I'm doing now is I'm looking at the traffic light. I'm scanning the road left, scanning the road right, checking my mirrors. There's a vehicle on my right hand side. And as I'm waiting for the light to turn green, I'm just scanning the road left, scanning the road right, checking my mirrors. Got my foot on the brake, both hands on the steering wheel. Morning rush hour, so you do want to be extra careful. Vehicles coming from right to left. This intersection here is what you call a diverging diamond. Light is green. I'm checking my mirrors. I accelerate gradually. I'm looking ahead at the next traffic light. It is green. I'm checking my mirrors again. There's a vehicle on my right hand side. Now the light turned yellow. I check my mirrors, slow down as I approach the intersection, and I'm going to make a complete stop. Make sure you stop again. I know I've said it a dozen times, but you want to make sure you stop behind the stop line and the crosswalk. That way you don't impede pedestrians or bicyclists. So you'll notice oncoming traffic, or rather not oncoming, but traffic in front of us. This again is what you call a diverging diamond. And we'll talk about that in detail a little bit later. I'm scanning my scanning ahead, scanning to the left and to the right, checking my mirrors. So these are the types of things that you're going to want to ask your student driver to do. Again, if they get into the habit of doing these things and making commentary driving, verbalizing their thought process, it does give you, again, a better insight into what it is they're looking at. A lot of times, inexperienced novice drivers tend to look directly in front of the vehicle. They want to make sure that they're scanning the road well ahead of your vehicle, or well ahead of the vehicle. Those oncoming, or those vehicles that are coming from the left. Light is green. I check my mirrors, accelerate, look right, look left. Check my mirrors again, look right, look left. Look ahead, accelerate through. There are two lanes going in the same direction. You'll notice a dotted white line, which means one way. Wow, this guy's pulling pretty fast and almost rear-ended me. Not real sure. I'm going to let off the accelerator. It looks like he or she wants to change lanes, so I'm going to go ahead and let them get in front of me if they want to. Nope, they're turning right. So I'm going to accelerate through this intersection. The light is green. I'm going to put my right blinker on, look over my right shoulder, and I'm going to gradually change lanes. Checking my mirrors again. Make sure that I'm keeping a proper distance between myself and the vehicle in front of me. Let's check this out. You want to keep between 2 to 4 seconds, depending on traffic and weather. There's a vehicle that pulled out of that parking lot, so I'm going to let off the accelerator. I'm going to cover my brake. There's another vehicle there, just in case they decide to pull out in front of me. So the distance between myself and the vehicle in front of me should be at least 2 to 4 seconds or greater, depending on traffic and weather. I'm going to check to see how far I am behind the vehicle in front of me. There's a white SUV that is the yield sign, might merge in, and they're inching, and no they don't. So I'm going to accelerate. Speed limit is 50 miles an hour. I'm checking my mirrors. There's a car in front of me that went from the left lane to the right lane. They did not use a blinker. All right, let's see how far in advance or what the space is between myself and the car in front of me. So I'm going to pick an object on the side of the road, a stationary object, and I'm going to count. And 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006. All right, let's try it again. That speed limit sign. Now, let's see. Speed limit is 50 miles an hour. I'm checking my mirrors. Speed limit right now is 45. I mean, rather, I'm traveling at 45. The speed limit is 50. Car in front of me is changing lanes. Checking my mirrors. I'm going to let off the accelerator just a little bit to increase the distance. Let's use this tree here, and 1001, 1002. There's a vehicle behind me. On the right hand side, I see pedestrians up ahead. The light turned yellow. I'm going to let off the accelerator, cover my brake, and I'm going to slow down. I'm checking my mirrors as I approach this intersection. It's really important that I'm aware of that the driver, in this case me, it's always important that the driver be aware of their surroundings. So whenever you're approaching a traffic light or a stop sign, if you're getting ready to stop, light is green, so I'm going to accelerate, look left, look right, I'm good to go. As you're approaching an intersection, a stop sign or a traffic light or what have you, it's important that you check the traffic behind you so that you don't stop too quickly and end up getting rear-ended. The car in front of me just changed lanes. There are pedestrians on the right-hand side. It looks like I'm getting ready to enter a school zone. You'll notice the school zone speed limit sign is 35 miles an hour. Again, I'm checking my mirrors. I'm going to put my right blinker on. Check my mirrors, let off the accelerator, gradually slow down. I'm going uphill, so I'm going to accelerate just a tad. I've got my right blinker on, and I'm going to go hand over hand, cover my brakes, slow down, release my brake, and accelerate gradually. And that's it, folks. Those are some examples of commentary driving. Those are the things that you're going to want to encourage your student driver to do so that it allows them to learn and develop good and safe driving habits. It also allows you as the instructor to, again, determine the student's thought process while they're behind the wheel. Thanks a bunch, folks. ParentTaughtDrivingCourse.com.